Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. You know, all those videos that talk about my top 5 this, my favorite 10 that. Well, I've been trying to figure out what kind of video I wanted to make on my top favorite something. So I've been searching and challenging myself, and it was very hard because I don't know, I think you guys can already figure out that I am in love with stationery goods, obviously traveler's notebooks, and Hobonichi things, and most especially pens. Different kinds of pens, whether they're brush pens, fountain pens, or even your regular like ballpoint and gel pens. So today I am going to talk about my current favorite 6 pens. Now, to break it down to only having 6 options is like beyond difficult. I do like to write with fountain pens, I do like to do brush lettering, and I do like the nice juicy gel pens. So where do I start? Well, I was going through my collection, I was going through my pens, and what I've decided is to go through and pick what pens I'm currently using. And I think I might make this a series of what I'm currently using in my journals and my Hobonichi. So with all that said and done, put these away. Okay, so these are my top 6 pens that I am currently using. I couldn't pick 5. I had to pick 6 items. I say that because I like fine liner pens, I like fountain pens, and I like my brush pens. And these are actually the pens I'm using the most right now. So to start off with my liner pens, I have this Pigma Micron 01, and this is actually the 0.25 millimeter black archival ink pen. The tip is super fine, and what I like most about this is that I can do fine line, I can do a lot of sketching with this pen, and make some very small lines. Plus, I can use it for when I want to color with some of my watercolor brush pens, and it won't smear after it dries, of course. Next, this is the Sakura Pigma Sensei pen in the 0.4. I do like this pen because it is archival, it does dry fast, it is a thick enough pen to make my lines thicker, and then I can also use it after it dries with watercolor and with my brush pens, like the Tombos and the Koi coloring brush pens. Also, it is a very short pen, so it does feel comfortable in your hand. Next up is this guy here. This is a fountain pen. It is the Pilot Vanishing Point fountain pen in the black matte in a fine nib. Now, Vanishing Point meaning that it is a click pen, like so, and this nib is made of 18 karat gold. and it is very smooth writing pen. I love it because it is small and you have that click feature here. It is a really nice pen. The clip is pretty nice and it does clip on well with paper and on like a shirt if you need it to be, or even on your notebooks. Next, of course, is the TWSBI Eco pen. I did do a video on my very first TWSBI Eco, which was the white one. It was in the medium nib, and as I explained in that video, I had to get me another one, so I got it in black. And this pen is actually in the broad nib, and I think overall I like the wider nib pens. This pen is a piston filler pen. All TWSBI products I love, or the ones I have so far I love, and it has a nice barrel that will allow for a lot of ink. I do like this because the price point is wonderful, and also because it's very comfortable. You do get that neat feature of seeing the color of your ink flow down to the nib. Okay, so currently I have the Monteverde burgundy ink in here, and it looks kind of black, but you could see around the edges of the pen that it's like a burgundy, pretty burgundy color. I will be doing some testing of all these pens so you could see what they look like. Okay, so we're moving on. Now we're going to my brush pens, and I love brush pens. I love collecting them, but I do like to try different nibs. And the ones I've been using the most is, of course, my Eco and my Kokiro, or Kokiro pen. I'm not really sure how you pronounce it. Sorry if I slaughtered the name, but if you guys are brush pen fans, I'm sure you've seen this all over the internet. This pen comes with the barrel, and then it comes with the refillable ink. Now, I have the yellow barrel, and then I have the black refillable ink. This guy has a brush nib. You can refill this pen with different ink colors, and with also a, I don't know if it's gel or ballpoint pen refillable container as well. They do have more brush pen refill colors than they do of the ballpoint refill, but I have this in about 4 different color bodies, and then I only have like a couple different colors of the refillable ink. But I do like this. It is small, but I'm also able to draw with it as well. It is not permanent ink, which is the only downside to this pen. I wish they were permanent. Maybe one day they will come out with a permanent refill. So next is, of course, the Ecoline brush pen. I did do a kind of like a review of these brush pens in another video, which I will link above, but for those of you who've seen that video, you know why I love these. It has a very broad nib size, I guess you could say, and it makes it easier to do brush calligraphy, and plus the ink that comes out of this brush pen and all the Ecoline brush pens are very, very juicy, and it just looks so magnificent on Tomoe River paper. Okay, so let's move on to the test. So I'm going to bring out my trusty Hobonichi Cousin, and I use this a lot to test right now because this is my first year using the Hobonichi, and you can tell that if you've been watching my videos, I do not plan like a typical planner. Currently I'm using this more as like a testing. I'm using it to draw, and I can go into more detail a little bit later. So to use up my pages more wisely, I am going to use this to test out the top 6 pens I'm currently using. Okay, first we're going to start off with the Pigma Micron, and I will do this all in real time. Next is the Sakura Pigma Sensei. Okay, next is the Pilot Vanishing Point. Sorry for the shaky camera. This one I'm using the Pilot Blue ink cartridges. Next is the TWSBI Eco and the broad tip. This is the Monteverde Burgundy ink. Next is the Kokoro? I wish I knew how to pronounce that name. For any of you guys who do know, put it in the comments down below. I was thinking about doing a video on how I like to do my brush lettering. If you guys think that you would find that helpful, please give me a thumbs up. And for this pen, when you first use the brush pen, the tips are very, very stiff. And I found that the best way to make the tip more flexible, besides using it over time, of course, is to do this. And what I like to do is actually take it on its edge, put it against the page, and push down and lift up the pen. So you get almost like a teardrop effect. And then if you kind of do it around the pen a little bit, it will start to ease up on its hardness and become more flexible, which allows you to make those thick downstrokes and very thin upstrokes. Just like that. I'm mainly using them in not only this notebook, the Hobonichi Cousin, but also in my journal and in my Hobonichi Techo. Now, you probably see these videos that I have on journaling in my Hobonichi Techo, which is pretty much just doodling. But I use my Ecoline brush here to decorate the back of the page, or as a background color. And actually, this I use this guy actually, my Pigma Sensei, to write that. Let's see. I like to use this pen, my Kokoro for brush script, which is what I did here. And I actually drew this guy, my clock, with the Micron Pigma or Pigma Micron pen, and then did little lines here as a shadow. And then as for my fountain pens, I like to use these in my journal. And the cool thing about my journal here, I'm doing this with one hand, so bear with me, is that I try to use different fountain pens every day, because majority of my fountain pens are actually inked up. So it is helping me use different fountain pens, but the one I use the most recent is this one. I use this pen obviously for here. I just like the line variation, and you can also see the color, the ink color variation. I use my Pilot Vanishing Point there. And then it also gives some ink variation in color as well. So I hope you guys like this video. Oh, by the way, I do have a video on this guy, and yes, I'm still using it. This is holding my Nanami. Yes, my Nanami B6 Slim. And anyway, I will link that below or above. But I do hope you enjoyed this video. Let's start a trend. List your top 6 or current 6 pens that you're using, if you're using 6 of them, or maybe your favorite 6 pens. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like. Yes, don't forget to like and subscribe this video. And I will catch you guys next time. Bye. Say bye, Devin. Say bye. Alright. Bye.